I've been asked several times about spiritual authority, how to walk in spiritual authority. And so that's what I'm going to talk about in today's lesson, our 5-minute lesson, so I'll try to be quick. But often spiritual authority is a misunderstood principle. It's people confuse what is commonly called pastoral authority for spiritual authority. Let me just lay the groundwork of this. True spiritual authority doesn't belong to us. The term is walk in spiritual authority that I've heard, and I understand that term, but the first thing we have to realize is the authority comes from the author. That's where the word comes from. And he can give us authority in that moment, but it is never ours to use. It's given to us in that moment to either cast out devils, deal with spirits, give wisdom, instruction, things of that nature. But we are only his agent. We are never the author. He is the authority and never us. And that maybe seems self-explanatory, but a lot of people think that they can walk in their own authority because of accomplishments, abilities, talents. And this is a grave error, because there is a concept in the kingdom that if you exalt yourself, you'll be abased. But if you'll abase yourself, you'll be exalted, or humble yourself. And when we seek to have authority over others or authority over situations, spiritual or natural or anything, because this is what we are dealing with as humans, people. So ultimately, spiritual authority has to do with people. And if we seek that authority in any way, if we seek to be over others, we end up walking a road of pride that leads to our destruction. And this is probably why Paul said, let's not have any of the new converts become leaders in this capacity, because they have this propensity to be lifted up in pride, like the devil was lifted up in pride, and then fall to that same condemnation that always comes with being lifted up in pride. And let's face it, when God uses you, you shine a little bit, but it's a reflection of his glory. And if we ever try to take that glory, he said, I'm not going to share that. And there's several ways that people can fall in this spiritual authority, if you will, where they walk out of submission to God in humility, and they begin to just be dictators. And we've seen this, and we've seen dictators. We've seen people that walk in pastoral authority, but it's their own deal and their own manipulation, and it never produces good fruit. It may for a while seem to work, but it never produces good fruit. But it's not just those that become despotic leaders that can make this mistake. We can errantly go around trying to push things to happen in what we think is spiritual authority, and it's not. Jesus even said, I only do what the Father is doing. I see him do and I do. And this is a good reflection for us. Spiritual authority comes through humility, because I humble myself and break myself and see to it that my own will is abated. And then I am then able to clearly see God's will and walk in his will. And sometimes his will is a cross for me and sacrifice. And sometimes his will is something I get to do, or something I have to do, or something I have to deal with. But all of that is not found by some sort of super spiritual wisdom. It's found by a humility that I posture myself in constantly surrendering my will, because it crops up in so many ways. If you will, the simplicity is, I do what I do successfully because it's his voice. He's saying it, and I'm just repeating it. And if I say my own thing and do my own thing, I have no authority. I only have authority when I have followed him. And I can only follow him when my own will and my own pride is truly surrendered and truly broken.